This past Monday marked a year that Stephon Clark was shot by police in California who believed him to have a gun. And in reality, there was no gun, but he held a cell phone instead. To make matters worse, the officers weren't charged in the incident because of their belief Clark was truly a threat to them, supporting their actions to shoot and kill him. Al Sharpton said in his recent speech, "The legacy is we're going to pass legislation in Stephon's name. The legacy is that we won't stop fighting for justice in Stephon's name. You might have killed him a year ago, but you can't kill a movement." Pastor Mark Burns, President Trump supporter and pastor of Harvest Praise and Worship Center, joins us to share his views on this racial epidemic. Hello, Pastor Burns.
Hello, Brittany. Happy to be here.
So what movement do you think Pastor Al is referring to?
Well, first of all, let's just say that it's a shameless death. It is a senseless death of Stephon Clark, 22-year-old, who was killed in Sacramento, California, at the hands of two police officers who thought he had a gun when all he had was a cell phone. And I think the movement that Reverend Al is talking about is the movement to bring awareness that there's so many African-American men that have been killed and lives cut short at the hands of police officers. But there's also a understanding that there are white mass murderers who kill, for instance, the Charleston Nine,
Right.
to kill multiple black people inside of a church, but to walk out alive. And so there's a highest sense of tension with black suspects than there are with white suspects. And it appears that way in many cases. And in this case, this seems to be one of the ones that has caught the attention of Reverend Al Sharpton
Right.
and Attorney Crump, who also represented, excuse me, who represented other mothers of the movement victims who have
And Crump,
who was killed at the hands of police officers.
Crump has been known for supporting and being able to cover these cases. He and of course Al Sharpton have made a name for themselves being able to be in the news to protect these families that are dealing with this issue. And I mean, it is unfair. You know, there are so many different people who have been they've shot people on their job, or they have been in a situation where they have not been shot and they've killed 2 or 3 people. But these officers just seem to have more of a reasonable need to open fire instead of a necessary one. And I think that's what really upsets people, because they say, well, I thought he had a gun. And we all know that that's always been the argument when it comes to these officers. So Democrats recently blocked a measure that prevents them from using this as a defense, so to speak. So how do you think this is going to affect police interactions going forward? Do you think that'll be an excuse they use going forward?
But I think there should be more education at the academy level when officers are being trained. And let's just make this clear. I don't think there's a war to kill African American men in this country by police officers, by no means. But I do understand that there's a heightened sense of alert when it comes to an African American suspect than it is for our white counterparts. And I think that's where it is, and that's where some of the education needs to really be understanding, is that in many cases black people are not dangerous or violent people. We're just frustrated in many areas because of a lack of opportunity. And out of this lack of opportunity breeds aggression and breeds, potential illegal activities. And so officers who are called and sworn to protect and serve, going inside some of these areas in the urban centers of our nation, and they have a heightened sense of alert because of the frustration many of our African American men, brothers and sisters, show simply due to a lack of opportunities that are presented to themselves, which is why I'm happy that President Trump is tackling that head on. He's tackling by offering the opportunity zones so that we can help create wealth and help create job opportunities directly in the heart of our urban centers in our nation. So that's the real problem. That's the real issue. I think a twofold attack. Number one, officers need to be trained at the academy level like President Trump said himself, they should aim at the foot. They
Yeah,
should aim at the legs.
police unions do
why
want
they
to add
aiming
more
at the
training.
chance to kill people?
Right. They do want to add the more training, but they don't really want anything to change. They would rather just calm offenders first. In my opinion, I wouldn't think that calming offenders would involve shooting them in any way. It would involve an actual conversation. So,
absolutely.
There are lots of people who say that would be an issue too. You're trying to calm someone, but you're shooting someone as they're running away. I don't think that's a way to calm the situation. So it's like black men are being shot now with questions being asked later. And then, like you said earlier, with the Charleston 9, Dylan Roof, who, shoots 9 people, but a black boy with Skittles and a cell phone like Trayvon Martin deserves to die as he runs away. Where's the equality in that?
Right.
But anyway, Pastor Mark Burns, it's always great to have your opinion. We thank you so much for your time, sir.
Honored to be here.
A black man is accused of falsifying his visit to the movies. Up next.